What is going on, everybody? And well, as y'all know, I am covering the best races to grind for parts for every single class. And well, in this video, we'll be taking a look at the Hyper class. So starting right off here, I am running the Corvette C7 Long Range Edition, if you are wondering, and I'm running a Fame Magnet set on this vehicle for this. Now, the reason why I am running this is because I'm trying to farm money and followers and all that, so this is like the best set for me to use for this. If you guys are grinding parts, obviously, if you're going after like the lovely Nitrochemist set and all that, you guys are going to want to be probably running the Loot Digger set is going to be your best bet on this. So do throw that on there if you are grinding these, because the hyper races do take a long time compared to everything else. So finding the best races for this is you're going to be your best bet. So backing right out of here, for me, my two favorite races I grinded to get my car set for this. Now, both of the races are actually in the same exact one here. So starting right off, I'll go over the first one here. Is going to be Hollywood. Now this race I actually did test out the F12 TDF in that video, and this is a very fun race to do. It's like 2 minutes and 30 to 40 seconds. Most hyper runs can do it pretty dang fast, and this race is very fun, and it's normally quick, and this is one of those races I recommend doing for this. So I'm actually going to show this running the Loot Digger set, show how many parts you could get from running these shorter races in the hyper class, because well, we all know how long these races can take. So running the shorter races for this would be a good idea. Now you can run the really long hyper race if you guys wanted to, the one that's like 30 minutes. You could do that one. If you have a Loot Digger set, you could get like 15 or so parts on that race, maybe like 17. And I've gotten like 12 gold parts from one race before, so you could do that one, but do keep in mind it's 30 minutes. So in that time frame, you could probably run the Hollywood and the Latrell's Part 2 much faster. Anyway, let's jump into the Hollywood race first. A quick little thing I wanted to mention as well, guys, by the way, so if you are grinding this out for these parts and you're trying to get better parts and level your vehicle up, don't forget to come into icon points and reset this and put everything on Gold Finder and Lucky. This does actually help a lot. I was using this when I was grinding my parts, and it actually does make a difference, especially if you are running like a Loot Digger set. You'll get even more points and like better luck toward getting the parts you're looking for, getting better gold parts for that matter. This has actually been in my top pretty much 3 for favorite races to grind in general for the hyper class, honestly, guys. Now I am only doing really 2 of these races, mainly because these are the best and they're normally the shortest. I do know they did add some races though recently into the game that like obviously part of the speed tour there that might be pretty dang good for races, which I'll be testing those out for grinding parts and all that. But this race is pretty much the one I grinded most of my sets on with the Latrell's Part 2, which I'll jump into that one next. This race is shorter than that race, so that one's about almost a minute longer, so do keep that in mind if you guys are grinding that one. This is going to be pretty much the shortest option here for racing, and this one, like I said, basically takes about 2 minutes and 30 seconds right there, so jumping right into that. 2 minutes and 26 seconds on that run, and I'll show you guys how many parts I get dropped with the Loot Digger set active, just to show you guys this. Very good for racing, and this race is super short, so with Loot Digger, look how many parts I just got out of that, guys. That is a lot. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, that is a lot of parts, and I recommend doing this. It's 8 parts right here. Looks like about 4 gold parts out of that drop. So if you guys are doing this, put on Loot Digger set, and you should be able to complete the sets in the hyper class very quickly. The reason why I wanted to mention this is because the hyper class could be one of the annoying ones because the races are very long. So grinding the super long races, you could do that, or you could do the short ones just to get those sets completed, to get the set you guys are looking for, and then you can go into the longer races and have a better time in those. Now, one thing I also want to mention, by the way, everybody, is if you are wondering, normally how the races in the Crew 2 work with how they give parts is normally the longer the race, the more parts you get. So if you guys are grinding the longer hyper races, you will definitely be getting a lot more parts from those. Like I said, with Loot Digger, you get a lot of parts out of those longer races. Latrell's Part 2 will give normally 1 or 2 more parts than the other race does. If you guys have, like, even without Loot Digger, it can drop more, only because like around 30 to 40 seconds longer. So you can sometimes get like 1 or 2 more parts than you normally would. Regardless, so this is the race I did with the Hollywood race, and these were my favorite races to grind when I was getting the parts for my hyper class. Recommend checking these out and really trying this out, and I am struggling right now. If you guys are wondering, by the way, this is my favorite hypercar in the game, is the C7. This is the car I normally do run when I'm just racing around. When it comes like competitive racing and summits and all that, I'm normally driving the Devo. But when I'm just racing around by myself and like just doing races and all that, this is normally the car that I am running in the hyper races. I just love how it sounds. I love the look of it. This car is awesome. Overall, one thing I also like about this race is it's just one of the racers that you go against, and normally that racer is, well, you normally can beat him around the first turn and you're pretty much gone. As you guys look at my mini-map there, I'll zoom in on it. He is nowhere to be found, all the way in the back of the map there, so you don't really need to worry about him too much. You pretty much just race, get the best time you can. That's pretty much it, is why I really love doing these 2 races. They're very simple. I figured I would throw in an honorable mention next as well for the other race because the Hollywood Special is also pretty easy to do, basically removing the racers from it there. So flying around this, you guys will notice this race is always going to be over 3 minutes, so do keep that in mind. The Hollywood race is over like 30 to 40 seconds faster than this one is. So completing it right there, really not too bad overall. I will also show you guys how many parts I get as well once this thing actually loads and show me that. My English is definitely broken right now. So I did actually beat my score that run, which is funny. So right there you guys will see I got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11, 12 parts there. So you get like 2 to 3 parts more on this race in the Hollywood, at least what I've been noticing when doing it. Now sometimes the game can be generous, but you guys can see I got a nice, good amount of parts there. 4 gold parts, again it looks like. Pretty awesome overall. You get some purple parts, you can delete those for spare parts. Very, very nice, and I recommend trying that out. I also wanted to throw this in here as well, everybody, for like an honorable mention race you guys can also do. So this is the Hollywood Special race. It is right next to the other two there. If you're wondering, the main difference with this race is there's no other racers in there that can actually bother you. Besides that, the race is exactly the same as the other one, and you can also do this one as well. Now, I haven't really been testing it out too much, but apparently these like speed tour races can give you more parts. What I've been noticing is that can be better. Sometimes what I've also been, if you're running the loot digger set, you're pretty much going to get a ton of parts anyway when you're actually doing these. So if you guys want to actually do this race and not be bothered by other racers, the Hollywood Special is your best bet. Like I said, it's the exact same race, just no one will be racing against you, and you're pretty much racing against the time there. I believe it's 3 minutes, and well, this is actually on the first difficulty because I haven't done this one, but it's probably going to be around like pretty easy to beat, I'd say. It's probably not going to be too insanely difficult. But right there, I got 2 minutes and 24 seconds. I actually beat my time on this one than I did in the race one there. So as you guys see, it's pretty easy. Only difference is there's no racers in this, and it pretty much will give you the same amount of parts there that you guys will see right now with Loot Digger. So overall, it is pretty dang similar. And that'll pretty much wrap this video up. I really hope you all found this video very helpful. Now, if you are wondering, these are my favorite races to grind. I highly recommend you all to try them out. I'm sure many people are wondering what the fastest races to do to level their vehicles up the fastest are. When I got to the Hyper class, that was one of my concerns as well, because I was generally wondering what races I was actually going to do, because they took a long time, so I wanted to get my car leveled up as quickly as possible. So I started doing Lottrell's Part 2 and Hollywood pretty much back to back, and eventually got my car leveled up pretty quickly. If you guys manage to get the Loot Digger set first, throw that on there, and it will help you tremendously in getting the other sets completed. I also do have a link if you guys want to see the Live Reward Sniffer set. It's a great way to level the vehicle up on the side as well if you don't feel like grinding the races out. I'll leave that in the description below there. Thank you all so much again for watching.